So India. Um, Everything started because I decided I wanted to do a trip, and this trip I didn't really mind or care where I was going. I didn't care the country. All what I cared was the experience, and so I tried different platforms. One of them was called Workaway. Another one was called HelpX. In Workaway, I applied and I received a bunch of responses. And out of the responses, I decided to apply for the one that had more reviews. And one of them was called PayPal Farm. And PayPal Farm, it was an animal sanctuary in the north, and I decided to go for that one. I applied. They accepted my application. It was a bit tricky to first get hang of it because I did. When I sent the work away, they say yes, they'll be interested to have me, but then I wasn't able to follow up with them. I couldn't reach them. I sent emails, I called, and finally by calling, they said, yeah, you can come, and I was okay, cool, for the tickets, and then I was like, when I was applying for the visa, and they was asking me what type of visa, tourist, visitor visa was applying, or if I was applying even for a volunteering visa. So I applied for when it was asking me if I was applying for a volunteer visa, I said, well, yes. And it was asking me to have like confirmation for the place where I was going to do the volunteering. I asked them that question. I said, can you guys please send me a confirmation of the volunteering? And I asked another question, and the other question was, could I please know if there's any schools around the area? I'm a tennis coach, and maybe I would like to do a tennis camp. Following that, they declined my application, and the reason they say was because they couldn't meet my expectations, which was a very interesting way to say we don't want you here. Oh, that's what I felt, because I felt like they didn't really give me any information. Later on, I found out that not everybody has the ability to provide a certification for volunteers, and you better just apply for a tourist visa, and that's it. I didn't know that. Anyway, so I booked my flights, and I didn't know where I was going. The next thing was started getting a rabbit hole of different things. I started looking for events in New Delhi because I was flying to New Delhi, and I found this couch surfing event, and it was about building a house with mud, and that looked pretty cool. Unfortunately, it was sold out, so I couldn't go to that one. And so yeah, I started, and I liked the idea. I was like, okay, mud building, that could be something fun to do. So I started looking for mud building in India. I found this place called the Wall Project. So the Wall Project was built with natural resources, and I really liked what they were sharing on Instagram. And I decided to apply for a volunteering program, and they say yes. They also have a 3-day workshop which was about building with mud, and I like the idea. And so I'll do the 3-day workshop, then I'll wait 5 days, and I'll do the 10-day volunteering. That was the plan. That was 1 hour away from Bangalore. So I flew to New Delhi. I waited for 4 hours, and at 3 a.m. I flew to Bangalore. Arrived to Bangalore at 6 in the morning. My plan in Bangalore was simple. I was going to get a SIM card, go to the gym, and maybe get a massage. Sounded very simple. It wasn't that simple. I tried probably around 8 places for a SIM card, and it seemed to be a very, very difficult task to do in India in general. So yes, I spent a lot of hours in Bangalore looking for a SIM card, which I couldn't find. Finally, I found a gym. I did train the gym, found a massage. It was a pretty average massage. A lot of oil, but not enough depressing. I don't know. And yeah, and that was my day in Bangalore. I had some food there. I have a few chais. Music. The food was amazing. So every single thing I was trying, it was amazing. Like every single thing. And I didn't know what I was ordering. So everywhere I go, I was like, what's something popular here? People recommend me something, and I'll just order. Um, Everything was really good. Chais were amazing. I tried also Iranian chai was really good. I tried coffee with ginger was really good as well. Um, it was really tasty. Everything I was trying it was really tasty. The next day, um, the people that we were going for the workshop, we gathered a group of around 6 people that we were leaving Bangalore at the same time, so we can all reach to the farm, which was 1 hour away, 1 hour and a half away from Bangalore. So we all met at 7:30 in the morning in a place called Monk's Mansion, and there we had breakfast, and we just waited for people to arrive, and we started at 7:30. We met at 7:30. The time turned into like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and not everybody was there. It was a long wait, and especially once we got inside the cab, the taxi, all that we were all sharing, and waiting inside the taxi got very tiring to wait for a long time. So I think we spent probably 40 minutes there inside the cab, which was not ideal. Keep in mind we were there from 7:30. We took off. I think we were not everybody there, but we took off. Like we couldn't wait anymore. And the ride was nice. We had a little nap. On the way, we saw a big truck that fell on the side of the road, so that was pretty scary. And then we went inland, and probably we went inland for around 40 minutes, I would say. And the complex where we went, it was a complex of 4 different farms, and we arrived to the first farm. They said, no, you have to keep driving 10 kilometers inland, and that was very surprising. Like it was a big place. We kept driving. We arrived to the place. I think it's MAC Project is the name of the place, and they do run these workshops about sustainability and natural resources for building. It was very interesting. We arrived there. They showed us our bunk beds, and the bunk beds were pretty much a 40 or 20-foot container with a lot of bunk beds and 2 toilets at the end. Yeah, I didn't mind that. It was a setup. You could sleep there. There was aircon inside, so you definitely wouldn't get too hot. But it was a pretty basic setup. And then we started the workshop, and we met with Annie, I think was the name of the lady. She was from Germany, and her and her partner both were running these workshops. And where we started, so we all took the cars and we went like probably 5 minutes from our dorms and our location where we were, and 5 minutes was where the mud construction was. We went there. She wanted to show some bushland, I don't know, like a view on top of rock. And I remember straight away the first 2 minutes we went through the bush, I just got like stabbed with like a bunch of cacti. I was like, oh, damn, that's not a good way to start. I mean, if I'm taking a group, I wouldn't take a group through cacti, I'll just make sure everyone's okay. Anyway, yeah, we went. We have a little bit of a lookout. It's a nice landscape. Yeah, it's a lot of dry land, but it was nice to see, especially for me being like my first time in India. Then we went to see the structure of mud that was getting built. It was a kitchen, and it was getting built with mud. It was very interesting to see. They also were using bamboo and rocks to fill the gap between the mud that we were patching. So it was very cool to see. The next thing, we all sat in a circle, and Anya said that we will introduce ourselves and to be brief. And we went through everybody, there was a lot of architects there, so which makes sense for people who for architects to learn about different ways of building that are not taught in school, probably. So that was very nice to know a bit of everybody from different parts of India, it was really nice for me as a foreigner to be with so many people from different parts of India and know the different profiles of everybody. So that was very cool. We had theory. We talked about the different dimensions and proportions of the mud, how you build it, and a few tests, so you know how you know if it's gonna hold. So that was cool. That was interesting. Then we ate food after that. We had dinner. It was very nice. I was very tired because I woke up at 4:30, I think, to be there at 7:30. So they offered us to go somewhere and have some drinks, but I was like, nah, I'm out. So I just needed to step out. The next day we went. A few of the people from the workshop, we went with the neighbors to plant seeds just outside of the place where we're staying, and that was a pretty cool experience because for me as a foreigner, to just be with people who are local the neighbors around the area, the kids, there was families all from that farm there. Let you know the name. It was very very cool. It was cool, a cool experience because I was just surrounded by all locals and neighbors. The next thing we did was we went and attended a workshop about building, and we just were shown different, story behind different structures that were built with mud and hold for a long time and years, and it was very interesting. It was really hot as well, and we had to sit a long time on the floors, which I'm not very used to. I need to be moving at some point, so I really really enjoyed being able to move more. There was not a lot of things to do, not a lot of places to go, and yeah, so that was it was very interesting, but at the same time the place, I feel like it was uncomfortable because there was just bushland. It was a dry bushland. There was no like a hammock or I don't know, like a couch where you can sit and relax and chill. So I found that difficult, and through the 3 days that I was there, I got to a realization that it could be a very tricky place to be for 10 days. So that's why I decided to not come back there. So I did the 3 days, and that was great to meet the people who I did the workshop with. I ended up meeting a former junior tennis player called Bikram, and because I wasn't sure what to do in those 5 free days, I was told I should go to Auroville, and I was like, yeah, Auroville sounds like in my line, sounds aligned to me, and I wanted to go to Auroville, but Auroville is east, and it's probably like around 6 hours from Bangalore, so it's a long way. And I thought I would need to pass through a city before I go to Auroville. Sounded like Auroville was a small city, so I went to a place called Chennai. And the friend Bikram, who used to play tennis when he was little, he lived in Chennai, so he offered me to ride with him in his car, drive, which we got a wrong turn and we went the wrong way for I think around 2 hours. The good thing was we saw monkeys, which was one of my favorite things to do ever in the world. See monkeys, they're so unpredictable and funny and dangerous, which is fun. So we saw the monkeys. We turned back and we had to drive for another 5 hours. Bikram he was falling asleep. And I said, I don't have a license, but it's an automatic, so I could, if it's all straight line, if it's a highway, I could drive. I offered myself to drive. And I drove for like, I don't know, 2 hours. Very easy. I learned to drive in India. I mean, I'm ready now for anywhere. Yeah, so we drove. On the way, also, I booked the hotel in Chennai. And Bikram asked me if I wanted to play pickleball once we get to Chennai, which we arrive around 8, and pickleball was at 9. So So yeah, sure, why not? So 9 o'clock, we played pickleball until I think probably 12. They invited me to go to a house party. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm ready to go to the hotel. It was midnight. We went to the hotel, and well, the hotel was near Central, Chennai. We're up to the hotel, and they say, nope, you cannot stay here. I was like, why? Oh, because you're not from India. It's like, oh, interesting. All right. It was a rule that we didn't read. If you're not from India, you cannot stay in the hotel. My friend Bikram, who's from Chennai, he was super pissed off because he never heard something like that. And to make things better, they didn't give us a refund. It was like, just bad luck, should have read. It's probably Hindu when out the rules. So yeah, and they didn't give us the refund. They told me don't trust this platform called Ojo or something like that for the future. Anyway, luckily my friend Vikram have a good friend who just bought a hotel, so you can stay in my hotel, and the price was similar and room was really good. Very happy with that. So I went to his hotel. So far I've been using hotspot everywhere I was going. So I've been asking people to lend me their hotspot for me to connect because I haven't been able to get a SIM card. And my mission in Chennai was to get a SIM card, do laundry, and go to the gym. Those are the three things I wanted to do. So like a pretty simple mission. It wasn't. It was a pretty hard mission. My friend drove me to the friend's hotel, and I stayed in a hotel. Everything looked fine. My friend Bikram offered me, because we shared the petrol, so I gave him some cash for the petrol, also for the pickleball. And he was like, oh, you want to have your cash, and you can pay me later, but you make sure you have some cash. Like, nah. Tomorrow I'll just go to the ATM and pull money. I should have known. Anyway, my friend Bikram left. He dropped me at the hotel. And then when I asked the reception, can I borrow the Wi-Fi password? And they were like, nope, there's no Wi-Fi. It's like, great. I don't have cash, I don't have Wi-Fi. Luckily, my friend Bikram told me that the train was right outside the hotel, which it was true, and I was have to ride to, I guess, Central. If you are a phoner and you think, oh, where should I do all my things? All the, going to the gym and getting a SIM card and all these things. You assume Central is the place, not in Chennai. Bad assuming things. That's another rule or thing that I learned in India. Don't assume anything. Things are not the way they are in other places. Silly me, I went to Central and I stopped in the, went with the train and started exploring around. Just started walking around Central, went to one direction for around 40 minutes. There was nothing. It's hard to explain. It's like shops that are very old, but pretty much nothing. There's some restaurants, but nothing. And I thought, oh, if I go to a restaurant, maybe they have Wi-Fi, I'm going to connect to Wi-Fi, keep looking. No, I was just following my instinct. Like I don't know where I was going. Luckily I had a map, because I had it offline, but really don't know where I was going. It's not like you can just search for like SIM card or I don't know. It was so hard. Anyway, so I went through the right side of the train station, walked for 40 minutes, started seeing a lot of people sleeping on the streets. Like, nah, seems like a place I shouldn't be. So I turned back, went the other way, found a place with a SIM card. It's like a very little shop, like a vendor with a SIM card, and obviously he didn't accept card, so I have to find ATM. I went to one ATM. It was obviously not working. Then I have to keep walking. I walked for another 40 minutes. Second ATM, it was working, but I didn't have money in my account. And how do I top up my account if I don't have Wi-Fi or internet? Yeah. So I luckily asked the people at the bank and say, hey, can you guys please spare me some hotspots so I can top up my account and I can pull money from the ATM. They did it. Thank God they spoke English and they understood me and they were nice, so they were very friendly. I did that, pulled the money, came back to the vendor who was selling the SIM card. He said to wait 5 minutes. I said no problem. Those 5 minutes turned into 45 minutes. A lot of people coming in front of me, asking for favors, pulling money out from him. It was like a little small vendor where he had like some, you know, the table, the prices of the phones were there. So 45 minutes. It took 45 minutes for me to get attended. Straight away he says it's gonna be 1,800 rupees, which is around 25 Australian dollar. I was like, that's weird. My friend Bikaran told me he pays 400 rupees for like $4 or $3 per month, and the guy was telling me 1,800. And you can see on the table. You can see on the table that said 400 rupees max for the phone plan with the prepaid plan. And I said, well, it says 400 here. And say, oh no, international, fees. And I was like, no, I don't need to make international calls. And then he said, no, it's a SIM card fee. It just sounded bullshit. I was like, nah. Okay, give me my pass back, and kept walking. Walked for another hour. Couldn't find anything. It was hot. It was all what you can think of India. That was the moment right there. Like, it was hot. It was humid. It was a lot of traffic, a lot of pollution. Near Chennai, I think I went through the main road, hoping to find like a cafe with internet, and nothing. There was nothing. I found a woman police. I asked her, hey, do you know where I could find like a cafe with internet? She said, go that road. So I went that way. I found a gym. I was not in the mood to train, but I asked the guy he gave me some hotspot. I paid like, I don't know, like 500 for just using the hotspot because I didn't train, because I was walking from 7 o'clock and I didn't eat anything, so I was not in the mood to train. Then finally I was able to connect on Wi-Fi, talk to my friend Bikra and say, hey, I'm in Central, there's nothing here. He's like, yeah, I know. You should have gone to somewhere called Anna something in Chennai. And I was like, okay, all right. So and finally I have Wi-Fi, so I could order Uber, because I was not trusting the drivers that were, the tricycles, whatever that's called. It's called Rapido here. I think we call it tuk-tuks, like places. Anyway, I didn't trust them because I know it would charge me like 5 times the price of anybody, any local. I went to the area where my friend said I should go. It's called Anna. I'll come up with the name. I went to a nice restaurant, Turkish restaurant. It was aircon inside. There was Wi-Fi. It was everything I could expect. There I planned to go for I was told to Airtel was the telephone company I should go. So I looked them up and I saw around 6 of them. So great. I went to the first one. They said, no, we don't have service. Okay, I went to the next one. No, we don't have SIM cards. Go to the next one. We don't have Wi-Fi. Go to the next one. No, all the Airtels, I don't know if in Chennai or in India or in the world, were not working. They didn't have signal. They couldn't work. Okay, so I decided to go to a different one. From one Airtel to another one, I saw Starbucks. I was like, great, I can connect myself to Wi-Fi. I keep looking for a place where I can get my SIM card. When I arrived to Starbucks, they asked me, well, do you have an Indian number? It's like, no, I don't have an Indian number. If I had an Indian number, I'll have internet and I wouldn't be asking you for Wi-Fi. But no, it turns out you have to have an Indian number so you can connect to the Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, that's not helpful. So I'll go to the other telephone company and somehow keep going from cafe to cafe, order something at a time so I can connect. Most of the times the internet didn't work or Wi-Fi didn't work. So that's something I learned in India. A lot of things don't work. A lot of things don't accept card, so you pay with cash. Even if you pay cash, they don't have change. So things are very difficult sometimes. And that was the day that I found it the most difficult, because everything was going wrong. Everything could go wrong, it just went wrong. And I found another phone provider and I asked him, do you have a SIM card? And they say, yes, we do have a SIM card. I said, great, awesome. And can I please buy one? And they were like, are you Indian? I was like, what was that? Do you have an Indian ID? It's like, what that has to do with SIM card? No, yeah, you need to have an Indian ID. Okay. It's like, help me out. I'm not from here. I'm trying to get SIM card so I can connect to internet. do things here. How do people do it? He had no idea. Like, you work in a phone provider company, you have no idea how people connect to Wi-Fi when they're not from here. Okay, or like data. He said maybe try Vodafone. So I went to Vodafone. Finally, I got my SIM card. So I was very lucky and very happy that I finally Vodafone accepted me. The only thing they asked me for an Indian number. Luckily, I had my friend Bikram who can lend me his number, because if I didn't have him, I don't know what I would have done. Like, cause you meant to have an Indian number so you can get a SIM card. Isn't that the reason why you get a SIM card? So you don't have a number. Anyway, yeah, things happen. Things happen. I accepted, and I learned that that's sort of the mood, or like the line that I need to start learning to accept. That a lot of things not gonna go wrong. A lot of things are gonna go wrong. So just take that. Anyway, I met with my friend Bikram again during the night to play pickleball. We met like at 10, and so I went to the hotel just to charge my phone. Now I finally have internet. I'm arriving to the hotel, turning on the light just flashing like a clock, like a disco, and just laying there on the bed and just plugging my charger, my phone to the charger. Obviously, it didn't work, so I was like, oh, it's crazy. Nothing works. It's crazy. It's such a big test of my patience. It's so strong. But anyway, that's part of the adventure. I think that's where I learned. It's just part of the adventure. Just go with the flow. Just things not gonna work, and don't get shocked. That's just not gonna be that's gonna be normal. That's it. I met with my friend Bikram. Well, I didn't meet with him. I say I was gonna meet, so I copy and paste the address that I found on Google, paste it on Uber. It took me 20 minutes away from the place where I was supposed to go. I don't know how it happened. Probably suggest the address that wasn't for some reason. But anyway, I ordered another Uber so I can get to my friend's place. I was probably like half an hour late, 45 minutes late, maybe more. We managed to play 45 minutes, and I told my friend all the adventure that I went through to get the SIM card, and they really enjoyed it. At the time telling it, it's funny. When you were living it, it's a hell. But at the end, it's just a story to now share to people. My time that it took me, I don't know, 9 hours to get a SIM card in Chennai. Thinking Chennai is the big city, that I was gonna do all these things in Chennai in one day, and then the next day on my way to Auroville. I was so wrong. Anyway, from there things got better. Once I have internet, I can find places. I can, top up my account, do the things that I need to do. So things starting to looking better. I went to a few. I met a girl from Couchsurfing that we just met in mall, and she needed to get a SIM card. I was like, look, don't tell me more. I know about this. So we looked for a Vodafone straight away. We get a SIM card for her. They were trying to trick us as well. They were saying like, "Oh, are you from here?" And they were trying to charge me. I was like, "Guys, yesterday I got my SIM card, 700 rupees in Vodafone, and I'm not from here." So they needed to be guided, those people as well. Anyway, I went after that to like a CrossFit session. It was great, a lot of mobility. I love it, and it was very fun. And then after that, I went to pickleball, and it was super fun as well. Had a great time. Had dinner. It was everything delicious. All the food, I've been loving it. And the next day was when I left to Auroville. So from Chennai, I took a bus. Luckily, my friend Bikram told me there's buses with aircon and buses without aircon. I should go for one with aircon. It's like, you never think those things, because in Australia there's only buses with aircon. Like, no human will be able to live in a bus without aircon in summer. And it's like, yeah, make sure you take it with aircon, because also the non-aircon bus gets very full. I was like, okay, that's handy. Anyway, I went to Auroville, and It took only 3 hours. It was a pretty straightforward trip. I ended up in Pondicherry, which is the main town here, the main city. In Pondicherry, I took an Uber to take me to here, and which was fairly cheap, knowing that you go outland, like inland, and then you don't really have roads. So he asked me to pay a little extra. I was a bit suspicious at the start, but then I saw how inland was, and yeah, definitely, it would be good to help him to go back, because he won't get any rides. Arrived, the bus dropped me where the Domino's Pizza was. There I met a very enthusiastic guy who was gonna study in France, so he was very excited to tell me of that. And they were gonna close, but luckily they stay open for a little longer, so they can serve me. I had a pizza. It was horrible, but it was food. I didn't eat anything for a long time, so that was good after the 3 hours ride on the bus. Got picked up by the Uber, dropped here at the farm. The farm where I'm staying is called Cosmorama, and it's a farm that got referred at the first location, the workshop. And to be honest, I really love the place, and it's a place where it's pretty isolated. There's not a lot of people staying. Literally, there was only two. My friend Tony, that I'm gonna introduce you, and we both stay here for most of the time by ourselves. And then some people stay here on the weekend, but it was mostly Tony and I. Anyway, the next day, I think I had to do a lot of work, so I just used the co-working space. Tony was very friendly and introduced himself, or we didn't even introduce himself. We just started talking and asking, "Hey, what did you do yesterday?" And this is how I met Tony. And he said, I took a breath, stopped, and I took another breath. And that's the way I met Tony. And Tony, it's been just that introduction for me. It was fair, such a great answer for a stupid question that I gave him, and that was gonna dictate the style of interaction I was gonna have with Tony. Don't ask silly questions. He's not a simple person. Let's go another level. And straight away we clicked, and we started having great conversations, deep conversations. We started making fun of the small talk and the simple question people make of where are you from, what do you do, all that. And yeah, that was my first interaction with Tony. I remember he invited me to go and do something, and I felt bad because I wanted to do something with him, but at the same time I had a lot of work to do. So I had to catch up with work. I think by the time we were opening new lessons in Melbourne, we had a lot of inquiries, and we had to open up packages and a lot of things that I'm still working on. And yeah, I needed to do a lot of work. So I felt bad to just having to really just focus on my work. But yeah, there was a few days where I didn't really do much work, so I had to do a few admin things. Yeah, finally I think I found a time where I can take a break, and Tony and I, we went, I think he invited me to go to like a pizza night, and we went to have a pizza night. I met a few friends. I met another friend called Alan, his girlfriend, and yeah, it was very nice. Food was very nice. It was a nice pizza. They also had like lemon tea and iced tea. It was really, really good. And they also had like a fire, fire spectacle and juggling with the fire. It was very, very cool. Yeah, it was cool to see what I could see, because people just straight away stand up and start taking videos, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna fight with anyone. What I can say is fine. Yeah, and then there's been just everything's been something different. People ask me, what do you do in Auroville? It's like nothing and everything at the same time. You just don't know. You just wake up whenever you feel like waking up. I started questioning or playing around or experimenting with the idea of having always to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the first days, I don't think I had breakfast. Only the days I was gonna train. So almost every 2 or 3 days I was training, and those days was the one I will have some fruit, and I'll just make sure I had a little bit of food before training, because also if you eat heavy and then you go and train, I think it's not good for you. We had a few trainings together with Tony. He took look after the part of mobility, which I find my hips were very stiff, especially the out rotation, outside rotation, inside rotation. It's not great. I have a great squat, low squat, but I have a bad way to open my hips. So I think I needed to work on that. So we've been working on that. Brought some yoga, some flow, mobility, stretching, um, elasticity to the trainings, which has been great. Is what I needed. I love my calisthenics and my training, my strength training, but it's important to also look the mobility side. Um, and that's it. And just I think that pretty much sums up all my Auroville experience. Just everything's been different. Some days I brought my camera and take some pictures of the animals. Some days I met another friend called Momo. She's a local, and we went out one night with her friends as well. I met some locals here, people from Auroville. Yeah, with heritage from Germany, all other places, but born here pretty much, and they're from here, and just asking a lot of questions how it works. It's a city that it's an experimental city where there's no religions, there's no everyone's equal. So there's a lot of sense of community here, where people do volunteer and help each other, and there's food provided for the locals, and there's also like different supermarkets. There's a supermarket where there is exchange of clothes. You just leave whatever you don't need, you take what you need, and I really, really like the idea of a lot of the things that you hear. I went to the Matrimande, which is the big spheric construction where you go inside and you focus or you meditate, whatever you want to call it. And that was something didn't really want to do it, because being a touristic thing, and I don't like touristic activities, but it was special. Starting with the architecture, I feel I was inside a spaceship or something that was out of this world, never seen anything like that. And then the amount of silence inside the Matrimandi was never felt that in my life. The silence and the respect that was there, it was very, very, very cool. I've been loving the food. Usually I go with my friend Tony and I tell him to order whatever he wants to order, because I don't know the names. So I've been getting familiar a little bit, but still don't know the names. So I'm just stressed. Whatever it's gonna be, most of the time it's gonna be good. Like I would say, for my experience here, 90% of the time it's good food, not too spicy like other people think, yeah. So it's been really, really good. Auroville is a place there is not a lot of cars, not a lot of traffic, there's not a lot of people. So it's a great place to disconnect, because you are pretty isolated from. But there's still a lot of restaurants, cafes where you can go if you feel like doing, a bit of things like eating. Especially there's a lot of, and also during the high season there's a lot of workshops. Yeah, there was a day where we met a monk, and I did a mindful meditation and spoke to the monk, and it was very inspiring to be around somebody who, inspires so much peace, and looks like he's done his work, like Tony told me. And yeah, that every day's been different. It's been already probably 3 weeks, I would say, that I've been in Auroville. It's been an internal journey as well, thanks to my friend Tony, because he has the right questions, so he can reflect and come up with the right answers. And also it's a good way to keep reflecting with each other, within yourself, to come up with better ways of interact the world, think about yourself, just be. Try not to react, and learning also that India is a place where you want to come with an empty canvas, and from there just build and have no expectation of anything, how bad or how good things will be. India for me, it's been eye-opening experience in terms of the food, the people. Yes, there's people who trying to scam you. There's places where it didn't smell so good, but that was like the 1% of my experience here. A lot of people think that that's the common situation, that the common scenario is bad smells, people trying to scam you. Probably if you go to New Delhi, big cities, sure that's what we're gonna find. But if you're trying to navigate yourself away from a lot of tourists, I think there's a high chance you meet organic people, more real people, and less chance they will try to scam you. So that's been my experience in India. It's been about learning that we shouldn't come with our idea or mind made up of what something's gonna be. Um, my plan was never to come to India. It was not in my list, but I was open to try, and now more than ever, I'm open to try new countries, especially the countries that are not touristic. I learned that my way of traveling is not through going to a place and taking a picture and leaving the place. It's through meeting locals. It's through doing activities with the locals. No matter how pretty is the place, I don't really mind or care about the place. It's more about the experience and staying longer in a place instead of just checking boxes of a lot of places that you just go and take a picture at the end. That's all. It's not my way of traveling. I learned this. I'd rather travel to one place and know it well for maybe 2 or 3 weeks than just go to 1,000 places and just spend there maybe 1 hour. It's not my thing anymore. It doesn't fulfill me. I'm not happy taking a picture of a location. Why? I don't know. It's like, isn't everybody doing that? Why don't you just go and take a picture from somebody on the internet? What's the point of you taking that picture? I mean, you won't even remember. But now I travel for the stories. I travel to share where I live with people. And that's my way of traveling. And that's have to everybody's way, you know. I call myself an anti-influencer. I don't want to know, take pictures of the food or the places or how beautiful this is and how it looks and how good it looks in Israel. No, I'm interested not in the people. I'm interested of meeting animals. That's another thing that triggers me and I love doing it. Just meeting the local dogs, the cows, the goats, interacting with the animals here. You don't get the chance to be close to so many animals in usually where I am. That's what my experiences are about now. From now on, it's I can see more clear. That's where I'm aligned with. Be aligned with conscious people who question the world and see life in a different way. People who dissect society and the way we behave and why we do the things we do. For me, that's what's fascinating me about traveling. Find people who don't fall in the pattern of who you are, what do you do, 1, 2, 3. Where are you from? What do you do? Questions don't make any sense to me anymore. What do you want to know? My heritage? You want to know where I was born, where I live? What are you going to do with that information? I mean, I'm going to place me in a bucket depending where I tell you where I'm from? What if I tell you I'm from Congo? What if I tell you I'm from Antarctica? What are you going to do with that information? Are you going to place me already in a bucket? Not interested. Not interested. I don't define myself to where I was born or where I'm from. I made myself in the world. And that question doesn't make sense to me. What do? I do a lot of things. For work, I do a lot of things as well. Tennis coach doesn't define me who I am, because I found to be a tennis coach. I found a way as a tennis coach, that profession to serve me instead of me serving the professional tennis coach. So tennis coach will be stuck in a place or maybe trying with a player, but stuck either in an academy or with a player. I'm none of that. I don't do any of those two. I'm free, and I will be free. And that's, for me, my freedom is my wealth. If I was staying in an academy just coaching spoiled kids, I will not be happy. If I was traveling around the world coaching a spoiled player, I will be not happy. So for me, this is about the freedom that I have of traveling, and I love coach. I love coaching, and if I can do my work and also give back at the same time, that's where I found that it's my jam. This is my jam. This is where I travel and I can also bring back to the community and share my knowledge with kids who can afford to play tennis. So that's also another thing that I now very into it. The next location is Philippines. I will be running tennis camps in the Philippines with the Living Foundation, and I'm looking forward to that. This is my last day in India. Tomorrow I'm flying to Kuala Lumpur for 13 hours and then Manila. It's been a pleasure, India. It's been really good. It has broken a lot of stereotypes that I had in my head. Even I consider myself an open-minded person, but it has definitely challenged a lot of things, a lot of beliefs, and I'm sure I'll be back. And yeah, that's all what I wanted to share. Thank you.